Hi, this is Ricky Lawson. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. And my dad is William Reiser Jr., and I was actually born William Reiser III. And my mother remarried. She divorced my dad, and a wonderful man married my mom. His name was Ivory Lawson. And Ricky was a nickname that I had because I was born around the same time that little Ricky was on Lucy. So in my neighborhood, they call me Ricky, and in school, they call me William and Bill. So he adopted us, and so everybody else just got a last name change. I had a full name change. So it went from William to Ricky, and so I became Ricky Lawson at about the age of 7. One of my favorite gigs that I had the pleasure to do was working with the Yellow Jackets, and I was the original drummer in that band. And working with Jimmy Haslip, Robin Ford, Russell Ferrante was amazing. Those guys were very influential in my playing. George Duke was very influential in my playing. And growing up in Detroit was very instrumental in my playing. Always follow your dreams.
Hi, I'm Alex Al, a good friend of Ricky Lawson's. He was like a big brother to me, helped me out so many times. It's because of people like Ricky Lawson that I was able to learn from and be inspired by to one day not only be a bassist here on the Arsenio Hall show, but bassist for Michael Jackson, countless others. I've been fortunate to do many records, many projects, some with Ricky, a lot of studio sessions in the last few years with Ricky. So he's a dear, dear brother of mine, and I just want to give my condolences to the family, the entire Lawson family. We miss Ricky, we love him, he's still with us here, ever more present than ever, and praying for the Lawson family every single day. And we miss you, Ricky, and we love you.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave Kaz, and I'm so sorry I couldn't be there to remember one of the absolute greatest drummers of all time, Mr. Ricky Lawson. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with you tonight, but I know that all of our hearts are in the same place, especially when you're thinking about Ricky. He indeed was one of the greatest musicians that ever walked this planet. But when you think about that man, you can't help but smile when you think about how an incredible person he was as well. Always filled with love, always filled with joy in his heart, and gave so much. I feel so blessed that I got a chance to make music with him and be his friend for the short time he was here. So I'm with you all, thinking about Ricky. Never, ever will forget the man. And I hope you have a wonderful and healing time tonight. Thanks so much.
Hello everyone, this is Kern Brantley. I'd like to send my condolences to the entire Lawson family. I really wish I could be there with you guys today in Detroit at Music Hall, tribute to Mr. Ricky Lawson. However, I'm on tour with Lady Gaga. Ricky meant a lot to me as a musician and as a friend. He encouraged me to be the best, and Ricky was like a hometown hero to not only myself and my brother Valdez, but I think to most of the musicians from Detroit, to let us know that we can make it and we can go to the top and we can be the best and the most classiest musicians in the world. Some of the best advice I got from Mr. Ricky Lawson is he told me to remain humble and remain versatile as possible, playing all styles of music from gospel to jazz to R&B to hip-hop to rock. And I just am heartbroken by the loss of Mr. Ricky Lawson. He was such a great person. And I'd like to thank Mr. Paul Reiser and Mr. David Winans and the entire Winans family for inviting me to be a part of this video tribute. Thank you guys so much. Have a great time tonight.
Hello, I'm Ralph Lawson, and this is my family, my wife Kathy, my daughter Melissa, and my son Brian. And first of all, we'd like to say we're so sorry that we're unable to attend the event due to the fact that we're hosting a prior commitment. But we do want to thank you all for coming out to support my brother Ricky's tribute. This event is one that is a great pleasure and a great honor to have done on his behalf. We want to thank the committee who are working so hard for putting on this event in Detroit.
We also want to show our love and appreciation to all of you. Thanks for coming out, and may God richly bless you. And we thank our son Sean for doing the recording.
Hi there, I'm Michael O'Neill. I'm a guitarist and vocalist, and had the good fortune of being a very good friend of Ricky Lawson for many, many years. We had a very special relationship because we joined George Benson's band and Stevie Wonder's band at the same time and toured with both of them together. Ricky played on my first solo CD, did many sessions and projects together over the years, and for all of the great talent that we know about Ricky, I always happen to appreciate his just incredible dedication as a family man and love he had for all of his family. And I remember at early rehearsals, him bringing his Ricky Jr. and Ryan out, and I remember Ryan was like 2-3 years old, and I had an ice cream, and she goes, "Can I have a taste?" I gave her a taste, and I never got it back. And those are the memories that you hold on to. And I was fortunate enough to see Ricky maybe a week and a half before he was gone. And Ricky Jr. was down from the Bay Area hanging out with him. So got to see him as a grown man and appreciate who he had become. And, Ricky, right down to the end, the last conversation I had with him, he was like, "I got a full tank of gas, ready to go." And that was him. He was the ultimate servant to anyone who called upon him. He gave himself to the music and never held anything back, had the most love. And I'm really going to sorely miss him, and the rest of the world will too. Love you, Ricky.
Hello, musicians, family, and friends. This is Ricky Rouse out in Cali. Talk about my main man, Ricky Lawson, who made it to the top. You know what I mean? Got Grammys and played with some of the biggest people in the business. And we all proud of him, and he went home recently. And I like to say my little piece. First of all, we went to high school together, Cooley High School in Detroit. Me, Ricky, Eddie Watkins, Butch Small, and a few others. G-Mo too. Greg Moore, he came a little later, but we all went to the same school. And we was always turning the talent shows out. We was playing already playing in the clubs. We was like 16, 17 years old. And so we had a little reputation at school being pretty good. And we was for having a lot of fun being real musicians. I mean, we was more into music than we was into school. I mean, I was pretty smart, but I knew I wasn't gonna be nothing but a musician. The same thing with Ricky. And I think Ricky graduated. I left school and got my GED, but we started out together with this group called The Undisputed Truth. They had a record out called Smiling Faces. And we was like 17, and we left and went on the road with them and had fun. And I think we played with them maybe about 6 months. And then everybody went their way. I know Ricky ended up with Roy Ayers, I think. And he played with a whole bunch of people I know about, some people I don't know about. But I went with Bohannon, and Eddie was doing his thing with the groups and stuff. Cause we was in a couple of groups together. But Ricky, he started moving up really fast. I was doing my thing, whatever. And I left Bohannon, got my little record deal. Ricky was already killing it out in California, playing with some of the biggest stars, And I think he had just got with Michael, and I had a little record deal out there. He came and played on my record, me. But we was really proud of each other, and he really blew everybody's mind because he shot to the top pretty quick, And then he had his own thing with the Yellow Jackets, got Grammys for that, what I mean. And we all was playing with a lot of, we all played with the stars now. And like when he saw me with Shaka Khan, he's proud of me, and I had did my little thing with the rappers, and did really well with that. He was proud of me for all of that. I would see him, and we always hug, and we would kind of talk like we would be more like cousins or something like that. We were kind of like family kind of guys, because we knew each other from. I used to spend out of his house, he spent out of my house. I mean, and I knew his family, all this, the family. So we was kind of like that. We didn't always play together a lot, but he would come and support me if I had a show or whatever. And I've been to his house. We had got a big house out in Walnut and everything. But what I want to say for Ricky was a beautiful guy. He always called, check on me, whatever. And I always see him everywhere, because he was with the big. He would be with the big guy. In other words, he was the top of the food chain musician. He might be with Quincy Jones or anybody when you see him, because he had moved up to those big heights like that. Everybody, we all did pretty good, but he was like on top of the food chain. And I'm very proud of him. We always talked to him and gave him that kind of respect, and he always loved his people. And I was considered one of his people, so we always had love for each other, and I got love for the whole family, So I just like to say I love you, Rick, and I'll see you when I get on the other side, and and you was one of the greatest that ever did it. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about Ricky Lawson. He was a friend of mine for quite a few years, and I'm sure I can't say anything here today that's not felt and thought and probably already spoken by the rest of his friends, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. I met Ricky on a live recording session years ago, and it was an amazing experience. We were recording everything live. I was in the booth and singing live, and at the end of the day, he said, "Man, I need to get your phone number." And I was on cloud nine. I couldn't believe Ricky Lawson had asked for my phone number. I laid it on him, and about a year later, I heard from him, and he called and said, "Hey, man, I'm doing a solo project, and I want you to sing a song on my record." Again, I couldn't believe it was happening. Ricky was one of my influences, early Yellow Jackets, all of that music, and the idea of getting to work with him on something he was doing for a solo project was amazing to me. One song turned into 7, and about a year and a half of spending countless hours in the studio with Ricky and really getting to know him and love him and really creating a deep friendship. Ricky was about bringing, excuse me. Ricky was about bringing the next generation along. Some guys do master classes, some guys go out to inner city schools, and they make their appearances, and then that may be the last you see of them. Ricky was about giving guys real opportunities, and not only did he do the master classes around the world and put his name and mark on many charities and things to reach out. He literally cherry-picked. He reached out and grabbed young people and put them right in the middle of opportunities that they never would have ever been able to be a part of, myself included. And I met all of my heroes hanging out with Ricky Lawson. Sometimes it was embarrassing. It might be at the walking around NAMM. If anybody ever followed Ricky Lawson around NAMM, it had to be what it was like to to follow the President of the United States through Congress. This guy knew everybody, traffic stopped, and without fail, wherever we were, whoever we were hanging out with, whatever music icons or industry legends that he would bump into that all knew him and loved him, he'd pull me up close and introduce me in a way that probably made them wonder what I was paying him for the introduction. He was very generous with his time and his love. One of the things I loved about Ricky was that he was this huge collection of sayings, and I told him that I called them isms, and they had a lot to do with his view of the world and his sense of humor. If I asked Ricky what he'd been up to lately, he'd say, "I ain't turning down nothing but my collar." If I was a little worried about being able to pull something off, he'd go, "Man, you Sean Holt." If I'd say, "Hey man, are you going to be able to make it to my gig tomorrow?" He said, "Think I won't." He'd call me on the phone, and first thing he'd say is, "Ricky, Ricky." If I was playing something he really liked, he'd say, yeah, there you go, baby brother, there you go. If I was overwhelmed, he'd say, hey man, give me your keys, I'll wash your car. And if I was, in need on any level, he'd say, man, I got a full tank of gas and ain't nothing but something to do. And they go on and on and on and on. And Ricky is many things. He's certainly a collection of those isms to me, because it made me know who I was relating to. It always reminded me of our friendship and how deep it was, and that he would go to any lengths to make sure that I was taken care of. Last thought is that Ricky was about the practice of his humanity. He knew what he wanted his world to look like, and he was about the business of making that happen. He taught me about love. He taught me about positivity. All things were possible. He was one of the most patient people I'd ever met around my creativity. And he remained humble and always showed me what it meant to be mindful of the talents that we've been given, yet coupled with a deep dose of humility. I'm, again, so thankful for the opportunity to speak here. And I'm so grateful for the time I had with Ricky Lawson. I still can't believe or figure out how to move ahead in a world that doesn't have him in it. But he'll forever have left a big imprint on me, and forever will be in my heart. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Greg Moore. Most people know me as G-Mo, the guitarist for Earth, Wind & Fire. First of all, I want to send out my condolences to the family, the Lawson family, and talk a little bit about my big brother, Ricky Lawson. This man, I first met him in high school in Latin class, and I knew he was special then. He just had a presence about himself, and he was gracious enough to let me in his circle of people, musician people, and I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart, because if it wasn't for this man, most likely I wouldn't have did the things that I have done in my career. So I'm going to miss him so much. I mean, love you, Ricky.
My mom, she always taught us that if you wake up, you are blessed. And if you wake up and everything works, you are really blessed. So get out and be a blessing. And so my blessing is my music, and I want to bless you with some of it. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.